All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack a really cool story about a surprising idea born on the high seas and how it grew and changed over 2 whole decades. So, that's a quote from the luthier Kenny Hill, who's a world-renowned guitar maker. He was talking about the first ever classical guitar cruise, way back in December 2003. It was something nobody saw coming, but it really left its mark. So, how did this surprising pleasure even happen? Let's dive in. To really get this, we've got to rewind all the way back to the beginning, to a time when, frankly, the world felt a little heavy and people were really looking for a connection.
So this wasn't just, a getaway. The founder, David Rana, he came up with it as a way to do something genuinely positive. He wanted to build a community and kind of shake people out of their funk during a time that was just full of bad news.
But okay, how do you actually get a wild idea like a floating guitar festival off the ground? This is that classic startup moment, right? That jump from pure passion to something real, especially when you have absolutely no idea what you're doing.
Get this. David Rona had zero experience in this field. None. What he had was a cell phone and just this incredible, unstoppable passion. He basically threw his entire self into it, just hitting the phones, knocking on doors, all driven by the sheer force of his idea. And you know what? That personal hustle-it-out approach totally worked. Kenny Hill remembers how Rana's relentless enthusiasm was so infectious it just wore him down. And he ended up not only sponsoring the event, but also donating one of his own guitars as a prize. Now that's how you get people on board, literally. Okay, so the tickets are sold, people are on the ship, but what did it actually feel like to be there? Let's take a look at how this one-of-a-kind community came to life on this massive 13-story floating city. So check this out. The guitar group was just this tiny crew of about 60 people, but the whole ship, it had 3,000 passengers. So they were like this small, passionate island floating in a much, much larger sea of vacationers. And that quote right there just perfectly captures the vibe. Like Kenny Hill said, yeah, they might have stuck out a bit, but that unique atmosphere was all part of the charm. The whole thing just had this magic that worked on everyone. And the cruise was just packed with these amazing, unforgettable moments. I mean, can you imagine artists trying to perform on a stage that's literally rising and falling with the ocean waves? Or Kenny Hill, just hanging out in his cabin, carving a guitar neck and filling the whole room with the smell of fresh cedar. It was this incredible mix of high art and just spontaneous fun. But there's one story that I think really sums up the whole spirit of this thing. And it all centers on that guitar Kenny Hill had donated. Okay, so picture this. At the end of the cruise, they draw the winning ticket. But the winner, a guy who already has a bunch of guitars, he graciously says, no, draw again. So they pull another ticket. And who does it belong to? A guy named Bob, a cruiser from Kentucky whose own guitar had been lost by the airline. He'd been borrowing one all week. It was just perfect. As Hill put it, the guitar went just where it belonged. So that 2003 cruise was just this incredible one-time thing, right? Lightning in a bottle. But what happens next? How does a spark like that become a sustainable flame? Well, the idea didn't just end there. It evolved. Well, fast forward more than 20 years. The idea is back, reimagined for 2026. And it's not just a passion project anymore. Oh no, it's becoming a full-on institution with a new structure and much bigger goals. And you can really see the shift right here. Just look at the difference. The original vibe was all about breaking isolation, bringing people together. Now, the focus is a youth education fund. Sponsorship has gone from those personal pitches to actual corporate tax benefits. And the scale's different too, from a small, cozy group to an exclusive 100-ticket event. And that evolution, it's happening across the board. In 2003, it was a single genre, classical guitar. Now, it's this whole fusion of styles. Those intimate demos have turned into live R&D for cool new tech like sea-proof amps. And that personal hustle has been replaced by the stability and legitimacy of a formal 501c3 nonprofit. So what does this whole journey tell us? From this scrappy, heartfelt cruise to a formal, mission-driven institution. It's really the big question for any passion project that makes it. How do you grow up? That beautiful metaphor from Kenny Hill back on that first cruise? It's still so true. The guitar is the axle, the thing that connects everyone. The only difference now is that the axle is engineered to spin in a very specific direction, towards education and a sustainable future. So in a way, they figured out how to blend that original magic, what Hill called the narcotic sea embrace, with the serious stability of a fiscal anchor. It's this fascinating mix of that initial, intoxicating spirit and the structure you need to carry an idea forward.
And that really leaves us with the core tension of this whole story, right? As these passion projects go pro, this evolution from a surprising pleasure to a structured legacy offers a pretty compelling blueprint. It just makes you wonder, how do you scale an idea without losing that little bit of magic that made it so special in the first place?